No, he's not, bro. In accordance to occult philosophy, the crucifixion, bro, is not about religion, bro. It's about transformation through public suffering, right? So if you understand Hermetic law, that you understand nothing in the mainstream is accidental, bro. When you crucify yourself based off of esoteric doctrine, this is ego death. Public humiliation is symbolic for purification, bro. You see what I'm saying? Just like when Jesus passed on. The cross is an intersection. The spirit and the body, bro. In Hermeticism, this is literally as above, so below, bro. So the material world is the trap. Suffering awakens the gnosis, inner knowledge, bro. This is what the Masons know as well, bro. But hold on. Sidebar. Jesus suffering and going through all of that stuff, when he was in the forest or whatever, and he was realizing that the God that's running this earth ain't really the real God. It's not a good God. It's the demiurge, bro. This, like, literally, bro. So with that being said, celebrity suffering, for example, it becomes a spectacle. Pain becomes monetized. The baby is showing you that he is literally willing to put his body on the altar to suffer and to be crucified. And what did y'all do? Crucify him literally after he did this video. All because you're trapped inside a Christian doctrine that was handed to you slaves through slavery, and you continue to prove the slave master's right with your slave mind and slave perspectives. But let's keep going. Public crucifixion is literally the fastest way to digital sainthood. Let me prove it right now. Tiny got crucified by 50. Y'all made her a saint. Point made. Let's keep going. If you're thinking in terms of Masonic allegory, the master builder is literally slain to be reborn, bro. Death is a process and precedes elevation. So the initiate, right, which you are not, they have to endure symbolic destruction before gaining hidden knowledge, bro. So when y'all talk about humiliation, these are public crucifixions. These are actual tests. So you're partially right, but you don't have enough information, bro. Hold on. Now, in accordance to the baby, right, the sacrificial figure absorbs collective projection. The public attacks, but it also makes him canon, bro. Destruction increases the mythos. Jesus wouldn't be as Jesus if he wasn't not only betrayed by Judas, but also crucified. That is one of the most powerful takeaways. Gnosticism teaches you that the world is literally run by a false architect, bro. Look at these systems, bro. It's like, you got to pay your taxes. Meanwhile, these motherfuckers, they sacrificing kids and doing all this weird stuff. Stop playing with me, bro. The chosen figure awakens within the illusion, bro. And the crucifixion represents the rebellion against the false system. That's why they laughing at it. This is why they laughing at it. Because they like, dog, you ain't supposed to be down here. And you actually got the audacity. You knew what was going to happen. They think it's funny, bro. This is where we got to get into familiar spirits and subconscious programming where the demon lives, actually. This is my theory. Let's keep going, right? The moment people transcend their old identity, you let go of your demons. What does society do? They resist. They remind you of who you used to be. They try not to let you change. Even when a volcano destroys all type of stuff, in 1,000 years, new life is coming, right? After you change yourself and rebuild your life, you might have to work hard. You might not become super wealthy, right? If you're from the hood and you had a struggle or whatever, but you can still change your life for the better, and life will respond. You see what I'm saying? You can meet you a good man or woman. You can build you a family. You can have a couple dollars in the bank. You can have clean blood and good health. Bro, but the crowd will literally punish you for deviating from evil. That's the crazy part. This is literally the paradox. Not only do you get punished for being evil, but when you change, you still continue to get punished. And only in certain circles are you actually celebrated apart when you're doing actual evil. Bro, this is the Matrix, dog. Social media literally enforces high conformity. This is why y'all do the same takes, the same reactions, bro. I want y'all to really think about this. Y'all all conform to the same narrative. Again, I've seen this multiple times with multiple celebrities. You would have to actually know people in higher places or have been there yourself, right, in order to be able to see the Matrix in full steam. I'm going to teach y'all symbolic, ritualistic, Masonic, Gnostic magic, bro. Listen, the more shocking the symbol, the stronger the virality, the stronger the subconscious imprint, okay? So now the viral backlash increases the reach of what's actually happening. The audience unknowingly performs the ritual amplification. Y'all literally be actually participating in rituals. I'm about to pivot. I'm gonna stop doing a little, because I like to decompress and post silly stuff. But we about to go through these celebrities, their songs, these actors, their hermetic principles, the steps that they took, their interviews. I'm about to start using quotables so y'all know directly I am correct. You Masons on here, you Knights of the Templar, whoever you are, bro. You evil people, you good people. Y'all know I know. You know I know. That's why they kept deleting my pages. But I'll be saying some wild stuff. So I'm not going to get deleted again. I'm going to play the game the right way. But check this out, though. Outrage is the increase of the algorithm. This is how you manipulate the public. You have to know people react before they analyze. Emotions travel faster than logic. Y'all have been trained to be this way, bro. Most never actually study symbolic history, right? And then look at the concordance of symbols and words to actually see that they all line up. And before you actually try to dispute, right? Y'all will argue before you dissect while feeding the machine the whole time. And they should benefit from you. Our people perish from a lack of knowledge. Somebody has to win. It's not personal. Y'all have to literally understand that this is a game. Life is a school lesson, bro. Demonic, real, painful, it's very real, but it's a game, bro. You have to interpret it this way. And in order to level up, you have to stop being so indoctrinated. We're not talking about Christian doctrine. I am talking about Hermeticism and occultism. In your Bible, this might be a sin. But evil people wrote that too, allegedly. Right? Right? Okay. You know something that 50 Cent knows? The loudest critics are 9-to-5ers or brokies, right? People with no actual influence, and they are literally unpaid marketing interns. You're an unpaid marketing team. The more blasphemous in your mind, because you're undereducated, the more viral and more money they make. They don't care. And y'all know what the craziest part is? You don't like something, but y'all keep watching. You have to know you have a maggot mind. Y'all want to know what the funniest part about this is, bro? And this is the real question. Is this blasphemy? Is anything that they do actually blasphemy, or is it archetypal activation? I'm going to tell you the truth. Half of the time, actually 60% of the time, it is blasphemy. 40% though, is activation. Archetypes. They play archetypes, bro. It's like what Batman said. You can unalive a man, but you can't unalive a symbol. Throughout history, bro, the figure who carries the suffering becomes immortalized. Literally. This is what they try to do. They try to immortalize themselves symbolically, bro. Here's the funniest thing, though. It don't even matter if you're intentional when you do this. When you understand occult symbolism, you stop reacting to these things and then you start observing. You stop taking things personal. If God is outside of your understanding, time and space, how can you possibly compute? How can you grasp the intelligence level to be able to disrespect this thing? That's a man-made concept. Now, they're mocking it from a human spiritual perspective, right? They're mocking your belief system. You cannot actually mock God. It is beyond your understanding. So if God is beyond your understanding, you can't fully conceptualize it. So you can't fully articulate what it is. Therefore, you could never disrespect the real God. Dung beetles. You should thank me. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm about to destroy all these celebrities, but in a good way. I'm gone.